Hello, everybody. How are you this evening? My name is Shelley Wilhoy, and I'm here to talk to you about special education issues and trends. This is a podcast that I would like to direct towards special education teachers. Um, basically, this podcast will include some special education trend, which I wanted to mention is social emotional learning. Um, Social emotional learning is a part of the daily lives of students with disabilities and exceptionalities. SEL also encompasses a very wide range of skills from self awareness to self management, um, and to social awareness and relationship building. Um, the trend and focus of SEL, social emotional learning and special education, is very important because it helps students with disabilities and exceptionalities to learn and develop skills that are vital to their life outside of school as well as inside of school. It helps them develop social and emotional life skills, and they truly need it. I think it's important that we use SEL, social emotional learning, in the classroom. And that helps give the social emotional skills, which are important because, like I said again before, it does benefit the students with disabilities and exceptionalities. Um, the importance of social emotional learning and special education is to the teacher is it's the exceptionalities and disabilities of the students. It helps the teacher become more effective in educating the students with exceptionalities and learning disabilities in the classroom. It allows the teachers to address issues and such as building stronger social emotional skills. Um, as a special education teacher, and as all of us are special education teachers out there that this podcast is directed to, um, we can use SEL um, in the special education classroom to give some extra help to the students with those exceptionalities and disabilities so they can learn to better understand and manage their emotions and their feelings. And it's also important because throughout the last several years, social emotional learning has really increased in focus in the classroom with special education. I wanted to discuss some potential effects of social emotional learning on students with exceptionalities and with their families. It has shown to improve the family dynamics at home. Students are better able to regulate their feelings, and parents are better able to um, work with their children and understand their children's emotions and their behaviors also. Um, the social emotional learning also supports a very strong family community within the school system, and they promote that. Um, the social emotional learning, it has also had a positive effect as well as influence in social skills and relationship building. Social emotional learning has also shown positive effects um, in that students and teachers and families, along with community organizations, when working together, has built on relationship skills, which has built upon the positive relationships between parents, families, teachers, and the outside communities. Um, the social emotional learning has positive effects in that the students, teachers, and families um, learn skills and strategies that can best serve and educate their children, the family's children, and the teachers can better educate students with the exceptionalities and disabilities as well. Social emotional learning has had a positive effect in that it has also helped the special education teachers better see and understand um, the students when approaching a lesson, and it will help the teachers decide the lesson plans and be able to better present the lesson content, which this allows the teachers to be able to, I'm so sorry, be able to better react to students with special needs and their behaviors when possibly certain lessons that the teacher is planning on doing, such as math. I know from personal experience with some students, when we would get ready to start doing the math lesson, would basically have a meltdown. And so learning here with both the teachers and the students are learning with SEL to control their emotions and to regulate their feelings. And that teaches the teachers how to better present, like I said, the lesson plans, and to have a less of a trigger and a behavior of that student who may not want to do the math. Um, but along the lines there, that social emotional learning is going to help benefit that child to help regulate their feelings, and they can better complete the tasks at hand within their math lessons, even. Um, SEL has also had positive effects um, in general with students being able to complete tasks, which I think is very important because when a student is heightened and they've escalated and they have reached a point of um, where they're not going to come down, from their behavior real quickly, um, learning those de-escalation skills for the teacher to better present, materials and to help that student better cope with their behavior. It's important that social emotional learning um, comes with life, and it comes with our learning. And even as adults and teachers, we still need to learn sometimes to better manage our emotions, or maybe if we're having a bad day at work, that's going to better help along the lines there. Anyway, social emotional learning, I wanted to move on kind of to the philosophy of social emotional learning, which is considered to be a preventive type of philosophy, which SEL philosophy is aiming at to help the students develop social emotional skills, which I've mentioned multiple times, which is important for students with exceptionalities because they're going to struggle sometimes maybe a little bit more on being able to manage, how they react with their feelings and their emotions at time. And thank goodness for social emotional learning, right? Special education teachers, we all know that we have those challenging days, and even with students, and our goal is to help our students have better regulation emotionally, and they can socially be able to make relationships with their peers and things like that. Um, Social emotional learning philosophy is their philosophy with social emotional learning. Again, I'm sorry, um, is to help teach important social life skills. It's essential in the educational journey of the child because I'd mentioned before that if a child is struggling with their social emotional well-being, they're not going to be able to set and focus and be able to get the work done that we're asking them to get done. So it's important that they do learn these social emotional skills. Um, I also want to mention that SEL and the philosophy has not changed much over the years. We're still out there, and the aim is still to teach those skills to our special needs students that have exceptionalities and learning disabilities. I'm going to move on to some sociological influences that are related to social emotional learning in the special education. They include things like influences such as peer relationships, family dynamics, the school climate, our cultural backgrounds. Um, they all can affect and have an impact with students with exceptionalities and disabilities. And the impact of the social emotional learning influences can affect students with exceptionalities, which is positive to be able to properly develop self awareness, to properly develop self management skills, to properly be responsible in their choices and the decisions that they make. That is very important also. Moving along, I want to say in closing that social emotional learning is very necessary for the students of all backgrounds, all cultures, um, different communities and different school systems. It's all of importance, and especially with students with exceptionalities that are in special education and receiving services, which is our responsibility to make sure that these students are able to be um, social emotionally balanced when they're in the classroom and in the school. We need to realize as special educators out there, all of us, that we can continue to utilize and we can continue to teach SEL in all classrooms, not only in special education, which special education students really need that, and other students in the general education classroom really need that. um, in the world that we live in, it is important to have and develop social emotional skills. And as educators in special education, it is our duty, it is our ultimate duty to help our students be as successful as possible. I challenge all you special education teachers out there to look more into the social emotional learning um, and teaching it with your special education students if you haven't already been doing that. And maybe later, I do have to mention, because I think it's awesome, that this challenge out here, with the social emotional learning and with the new technology and the AI, that there's probably some materials and other things out there that can help you along the way to learn different techniques with the SEL and to incorporate that into your classroom. And again, I want to say thank you, everybody, for taking your time to listen to this podcast. Thanks, special education teachers. And until next time, thank you. Okay, Jade.